What is up guys, Jav here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in our video today we're taking a look at some high impact pulse rifles. With some of the changes coming to season 11, high impact pulses are going to be very strong indeed. So in this video today we're going to cover the top 3 and the ones that you want to be chasing down to get yourselves ready. Now if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below, that super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. With Season 11 merely a week away, it is now time to start looking at what weapons we want to start using when it comes to Crucible next season. With Season 10, we saw the rise of 600 RPM auto rifles, and we covered many of those here on the channel, and those will still be some of the strongest weapons going into Crucible. However, there are some changes coming to high impact pulses, which means these will also be making more of an appearance next season. So now is a great time to have a look in your vaults and your collections to see if there's any that you might want to try beforehand. So in this video, we're going to cover off the top 3 on ones that you should be farming to get yourselves ready. Now the first pulse rifle we're going to take a look at is the Einstein D. This is a legendary kinetic pulse rifle. It's high impact frame, so these are slow firing and have high damage, and this weapon is more accurate when you're stationary and you're aiming down sights. Now you can pull this from your collections. It will come with high impact reserves if you do so, but it can also drop from the gunsmith over in the tower. So if you've got some gunsmith materials, it is a random drop from Banshee, and that will drop with random rolls. Now the reason that high impact pulse rifles will matter is because they are currently underused in Crucible, and while they have a very fast optimal time to kill, it's actually 0.67 of a second. It's very hard to achieve that, so Bungie are making some changes which makes this a little bit more achievable. So high impact pulses will go from 21 per bullet to 22, and that change means that instead of 6 crits, we'll now need only 5 crits and 1 body shot to kill a Guardian, and that will cover all resilience values. In terms of the go-to roll, this can roll with high caliber rounds in the magazine column. This is where shots with this weapon will knock back your target further, as well as slightly increasing your range by a +5 to the stat. In the middle column, we have a few choices here. You have Firmly Planted, which pairs really well with the archetype of the weapon anyway. This will further increase its accuracy, stability, and handling while you're crouched. So the frame of the weapon has extra accuracy when you're stationary and aiming down sight, and this will pair brilliantly with Firmly Planted. It also has Under Pressure, which will improve its stability and accuracy as the magazine gets lower, but the go-to one for Crucible is probably going to be Moving Target. This will increase your movement speed and target acquisition whilst you're moving and aiming down sights. And in the third and final column, we are almost spoiled for choice. We have a great set of options available. We have things like Zen Moment, where causing damage with this weapon increases its stability. You also have damage enhancing perks like Rampage and Kill Clip. Full auto is really good to make sure you have the optimal time to kill as well, and that will fire the weapon in full auto for you. And you also have things like Snapshot and Head Seeker as well. The go-to one for me on high impact frame pulses is going to have to be Zen Moment. This is incredibly powerful on any fast firing weapon, especially things like auto rifles and pulse rifles, and it is very noticeable on the high impact frame archetype as well. So be sure to try and get one with Zen Moment and you'll be very well equipped indeed. Now whilst this gun has great options in terms of perks, it does struggle a little bit with some of its stats. Now it has one of the lowest stability and handling stats for this archetype of weapon. It also has the lowest recoil stat of 72 and the highest bounce intensity of 28, which makes controlling this weapon, which tends to bounce to the left, a little bit more difficult than some of the other weapons within the same archetype. That being said, if you can get perks like Ricochet Rounds, which improve its stability by +10 as well as its range, and things like Zen Moment, and put a counterbalance mod on there, then this makes the Einstein very stable indeed. Another pulse rifle that's very similar to this is the Premonition, which you can get from either the Pit of Heresy or, if you're very fortunate, one of the Dreambane engrams as well. Now in terms of base weapon stats, it's very similar to the Einstein. It has a slightly higher handling stat than that weapon, but it's some of the hidden stats that really make this weapon feel different to use. It has a slightly higher aim assist at 32, it has a higher recoil stat of 77, so that's noticeably higher, and a lower bounce intensity of just 23, and this bounces to the right as well instead of the left. But when you factor those stats in to the slightly higher handling stat, this most definitely feels like the better gun to use. It also has some slightly different perks, so in the middle column, as well as Firmly Planted, which was on the Einstein, we now have the option of Outlaw, where precision kills greatly decrease the reload time, but also Rangefinder, where aiming with this weapon increases its effective range and zoom magnification. And in the final column, we only have 4 choices. We either have Kill Clip, Demolitionist, Dragonfly, or Head Seeker. And if you want the optimal roll, it's going to have to be Kill Clip and Outlaw, which will further reduce the time to kill on this weapon.
Now that all being said, the standout weapon and one to keep an eye on next season is going to have to be the Broadsword. This is a legendary kinetic pulse rifle as well, obviously high impact frame, and it comes with the unique trait Desperado, where reloading while Outlaw is active increases your rate of fire. Now once you've unlocked the Broadsword, you do have the option to farm out one with additional rolls. They will always have Outlaw and Desperado, but you can farm out for different barrel options and magazine options as well. So if you want one with high caliber rounds, then you can most definitely farm one out. But if you want one with ricochet rounds, then you can put a bit of extra time in to get that boost to your stability as well. Now, as well as having a unique perk in Desperado, it has a unique layout in terms of its stat combination. Whilst it has a lower range stat of 60, it has a much higher stability stat of 59, a decent handling stat of 38, but the key stats for me are the aim assist stat of 39, which is relatively high, a decent recoil stat of 75, which is one of the highest, and a bounce intensity of just 25, so one of the lowest across the archetype. But the key part for me is the bounce direction being entirely vertical, so when you combine all the fact that it has a decent stability stat by default, good handling, as well as good recoil direction and control, this makes it a very stable weapon when you're firing it indeed, especially with Desperado procced, which is increasing your rate of fire. Now in order to get the Broadsword, you need to complete a lengthy quest. You can get this from Lord Shaxx over in the tower, but it will take you some time if you don't have it already. It will require you to have 5 Valor resets in a single season alongside completing some other objectives. So next time Double Valor is in rotation with Triple Valor at the weekends, be sure to jump into the Crucible playlist and work on your Broadsword quest if you haven't completed it already. So all in all, Broadsword is set to take the gold next season when it comes to high impact frame pulses, especially with its high stats across its stability and recoil direction, and also its unique perk combinations in Outlaw and Desperado. So there we have it, guys. Those are the top 3 high impact pulse rifles that you should be chasing ahead of next season. And if you have them already, be sure to jump into the Crucible and give them a try, and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always, guys, but I will catch you all again very soon.